Let's take a look at these operations on complex numbers. Hopefully my memory on my laptop can handle this. Okay, so we got 5 plus I minus 3 plus 2I. First off, in this example, I'll do these by hand first. We get rid of the parentheses. Those first set of parentheses aren't doing anything. The second one, remember if you have a negative out in front, it flips the sign of everything. So it becomes a negative 3 minus 2I. We go 5 minus 3 gives us 2. I minus 2I gives us a negative I. And that'd be your answer. Now for B, we got 4 plus 7I plus 1 plus 8I. And again, I get rid of the... where'd that come from? I get rid of the parentheses. So we got 4 plus 7I plus 1 plus 8I. That should be an I there. Okay, 4 plus 1 is 5. 7I plus 8I gives us 15I. Now for C, we got 4 plus I times 2 minus I. Well, 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times negative I is negative 4I. I times 2 is 2I. I times negative I is negative I squared. Well, combine together these i's. That's an I there. Negative 4i plus 2i gives us negative 2i. And I squared is negative 1. So we replace the I squared with negative 1. And we got 8 minus 2i plus 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. So we got 9 minus 2i. Fourth one, we got 4 over 5 minus I. Now, if you have an I downstairs like this and you got two items, you multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. Conjugate, if this is 5 minus I, the conjugate would be 5 plus I. And you multiply that times the top also. Now up on top, we take 4 times 5 and 4 times I. So 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times I is 4i. On the bottom, since they're conjugates, all we have to do is multiply the first parts together and the last parts. 5 times 5 is 25. And negative I times I gives us negative I squared. Well, up on top we got 20 plus 4i. And I squared we replace with negative 1. So we got 20 plus 4i over negative becomes positive, so we got 25 plus 1. So 20 plus 4i over 26. Split it up into real parts separate from the imaginary. So 20 over 26 plus 4 over 26i. Top and bottom both divisible by 2 at least. So we'll get 10 thirteenths plus 2 thirteenths. I. And that's our answer. Now the fifth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. We got 3 plus 2i over 4 plus 3i. Well, this is no different. It's 3. If you got two items down below and one of them has an I, you multiply the top and bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. So multiply top and bottom by 4 minus 3i. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times negative 3i is negative 9i. 2i times 4 is 8i. 2i times negative 3i gives us negative 6i squared. And the bottom part, since they're conjugates, 4 times 4 is 16. And 3i times negative 3i is negative 9i squared. Remember, if they're conjugates, you just have to multiply the first parts and the last parts. Well, up on top, negative 9i plus 8i is negative I. And replace the I squareds with negative 1. Same down here. Negative 6 times negative 1 gives us a positive 6. And negative 9 times negative 1 gives us a positive 9. Well, 12 plus 6 is 18. Minus I over 25. 16 plus 9. Split this up in a real part separate from the imaginary. So I got 18 over 25 minus 1 over 25i. Maybe. I'm getting distracted by the my pen just causing parts of it to disappear. Let's do this by hand. Or by a calculator. So let me come over here. You basically type them in as exactly as you see them. So our first one, 5 plus I inside of parentheses. So beginning parentheses, 5 plus second decimal is how you get the I. Close parentheses, minus beginning parentheses, 3 plus 2, and then second decimal. Close parentheses, enter. And we get 2 minus I. Now our second one, we got beginning parentheses, 4 plus 7i, so 7 second decimal. Close parentheses, plus beginning parentheses, 1 plus 8i. So 1 plus 8 second decimal. Close parentheses, enter. Get 5 plus 15i. Now our third one. Beginning parentheses, 4 plus I. Close parentheses, beginning parentheses, 2 minus I. Again, I'm just typing in exactly as I'm seeing it. Nothing special here. And that gives us 9 minus 2i. Now our fourth one, we have to do something special about. If you have more than a single number or a single I in top or bottom, you have to put parentheses around it. So when I put that one in, I do 4 divided by, and I had to put parentheses around the denominator. Denominator is 5 minus I. So 5 minus second decimal. Close parentheses, enter. And we get a decimal. So we do math, enter. 10 thirteenths plus 2 thirteenths I. Okay, looks like I got that right. Now our last one, we have put parentheses around top, parentheses around the bottom. So I do beginning parentheses, 3 plus 2i. Close parentheses, divided by, and parentheses around top and the bottom. So 4 plus 3i. And then close parentheses and enter. We'll get decimals, and you do math, enter. 18 25ths minus 1 25th I. And that's how you do it on the calculator.